Alright, that should have us going. Hello, everybody. Gonna check, make sure we're on, because you know how live streaming can be. Or if you don't know how live streaming can be, sometimes you think it's going really well, and then it's not going very well. So, you know, we shall see.
Make sure we're on.
Yep, looks like we are on. In fact, I'm going to turn that off. And we are going to get started. So, yesterday we were working on The Princess Bride. We have the three lost circus performers. If you know the movie, you'll know that joke. Let's see. I think we are just about... Let me give it just a few minutes, make sure everybody who wants to get in here gets in here. And then we're gonna get moving. So we'll take a look at these. I did change the camera setup, and I feel like this is gonna be a whole lot better for us. And see, like it seems like it grabs the image real quick, which is awesome because that's exactly what we want it to do. So I think I finally figured that one out. Yay! So no, I'll figure these things out. I definitely am. I like to learn things. I'm not super technological advanced, but it seems like they've made all this stuff pretty easy, even for a bloke like me, which is awesome. Hope everybody's having a wonderful Friday. We had my favorite weather early this morning, but it looks like it's cleared on out. I love it when it's all misty and overcast, and that's my favorite. I like that. Be able to sit out and have a cup of coffee or just smell it and stuff like that. It's one of the only times where like I don't have trouble breathing is when it's misty and like that. So it was a good day this morning. I was breathing pretty good, which is awesome. I've had lung issues and stuff like that for a long time, and so it's nice when I can breathe. Anyway, so we got to make some bold strokes here, deep breaths, bold strokes. So we're going to work on Andre to start off with here, because his model has the most difficult piece to do. So it is a, let's see, we'll pull these guys back up, as we had our image of them. Alright, so as we can see, he's got striped pants. And stripes are not the easiest thing in the world to do. But it's yeah. It is what it is. We're gonna pop those in there. So this should be pretty easy if we make it super easy. And the trick, in my opinion, with this is to always pull down. Don't ever try to go up. This is another reason why I like this little bit of a thicker paint, because you can drop this line pretty easy. So what we want to do is we want to come straight down here. Boom. Just like that. Like I said, trying to pull down, pull down, pull down, pull down. And once you set one, you can just start doing the others from there. So it's like, yeah, once the first one in, you're a little bit less worried about it. It's stripes are fun. So, and this is a weird set of stripes. So he's got like one stripe that's a thicker stripe, and then he's got two stripes that are thinner stripes, and another thick stripe. So the best way to do this may be to actually use a thicker brush for the other stripes. So we may be trading out brushes back and forth, and then we'll drop later on. We'll come back and drop another one of these, or the smallest one I've got. That's the 5. That may be the smallest one I've got. Oh, I think I got one smaller. Well, it's a 3, but it looks smaller than the. Anyway, we'll figure it out. But sometimes when you're trying to make a tiny little stripe, the easiest way to do it is make a big stripe and make stripes in between. I don't know. Not sure I want to do that. Let's see if we can't just drop some paper thin stripes on here. That's not too bad, right? That wasn't too bad. I should have curved it a little bit right here to keep it going with the direction of the one on his leg. But we might be able to fix that okay without too much problem. And we just need to make a little bit of the lighter shade. And we'll just kind of dip this off just a touch. I gotta get used to using this new setup. It's like I gotta look through an eye of a needle here. You know what? We're gonna have to come back and really fix that up in a second. We'll have to let that dry and come back. Let's try here on the other side. Good test for these new brushes. So that's nice. And they're performing quite admirably, I might say. Oh yeah, I was going to look up and see how much these cost. I did not do that. Okay, so here we go. We should be dried up now. We're just going to try and help bring that angle over with it. Oof. There we go. Sometimes I'll do that. I'll kind of make the motion before I touch down and kind of getting ever so closer to it until I touch it, just so I can make sure I'm barely touching. Because that right there will make you nervous, trying to get those little tiny stripes. Okay, I got that one going. And this is definitely going to be one of those where we want to make sure all the excess water is off the brush. We want just a little bit of paint too. Too much paint and it will cause a problem. I suppose you could do this with like a, oh, I'm sure you could use a pen or something like that to do it. But I'm, you know, I like that idea of using a paintbrush. And I can say I did it with a paintbrush. But I'm sure they make some sort of a pen that does this. By now they've got to have some sort of tech, right? Like I said, we mess up, we're just going to come back. And we're just going to hit it with that lighter Payne's gray. And we'll just blend it out. And it'll be okay. And we want to do all of this work before we add the washes. Whew. Well, that's a lot of fun, isn't it? It's about the most excitement I get after I left the kitchen. Kitchen life is very exciting, and so I kind of miss that part. I miss the thrill. So that's probably why I like a little bit of this in dangerous painting, where it's like, oh my goodness, if I mess up, this is gonna really suck. And I kind of like it because it gets my adrenaline going just right. Which is kind of funny. Well, I think it's funny. Oof. That is just barely touching. And just trying to skinny through there. Make that line as skinny as you possibly can. That's not too bad, eh? Once we and if you haven't watched me do these things before, once I start adding a couple of the washes and stuff like that and weather it up, it's really going to change for us how this looks. So the key is to definitely get the lines on first and make sure the colors are going to be right before we start adding washes to it, because this would be what these pants would have looked like brand new. But oh my god, I'm gonna have to come down and go in this direction. So if you want to paint straight lines, in my opinion, it is easier to go straight down. I am not a formally taught artist or anything like that. I practiced a lot and doing other paintings, but mostly it's just self-teaching. I had a friend of mine show me how to paint miniatures, and my Aunt Kathy she's a professional artist, and I kind of goofed off and learned how to paint some stuff with her. But you know, ooh, oh, I hate when that happens. Well, that's okay. So this is why we have this old beat up brush. If you can get to it before it gets too dry, you can usually just get it wet, and you can just dab it right off, and it'll be okay. Let me just, oof, got all up in his hair. I hate when I drop them. That is one of the things about painting over the top of your palette. I do that so you guys can see it, and then every now and again my dang fingers give way. It's just gonna give them a little sun kiss, it's just the sun, the sparkle of the sun on him. Andre needs that glitz and glamour, man. He deserves it, dang it. If you're an old wrestling fan, you know Andre definitely deserves every bit of praise and love he gets. He was an amazing person. All right, we'll take care of that later. The rest of it, we got most of it off there. So mistakes happen, and you need to learn how to get in there and get those mistakes taken care of. And that is the way to do it right there. Just clean it up. So, okay, where were we? We were painting stripes on Andre the Giant as Fezzik. See his little nameplate down there? Oh yeah. This is definitely a much better camera angle. Now I just got to learn how to make sure I'm staying in frame. And I think we're going to have this all figured out. And we're going to be past our trial period, which is awesome. I like getting things figured out. Okay. So we're just going to kind of keep working that way, and then working that way, and working that way. That way we can keep we can make sure we end our stripes in the right places. Again, pull down, pull down. Do not try to go up for straight lines. It never works out. Well, at least in my opinion. You always end up with like a weird spot. Not that I don't have with some of them when I come down, but I don't seem to veer off in a weird angle as much. The sun's finally coming out. I don't know if you can hear the roosters across the street from me crowing. But like, it's been super dark all day, so The roosters didn't crow early this morning. And now the sun's starting to come up and they're out there crowing. I have the window open, so it's kind of nice. They calling me. Nobody important. I did have an important phone call just before this. My friend Joe called me. He got a new dog. Which is awesome. Because he's been wanting a dog like this for a while. He had one similar to it that had passed away. And he'd been very upset about it. So it's nice for him to get what he was wanting for Christmas. At least I assume he got it for Christmas. He's a Christian guy, so I bet you that's what it was. Okay, so again, thicker stripe, and then too thin, and then one thick, and then too thin. Match that spot right there. And then we're going to come back and connect them. We're definitely going to have to clean that one up. That's got a lot of ridges on it, so it's a little bit funky. And my voice is a little bit froggy. Might have to get a tasty beverage out of my cooler. I definitely would recommend a tasty beverage if you are at home watching. Oh, yes. That's looking much more like it. Looks a lot like it does in the movie. Alright. And that's what we want. We want it to look like the movie. Kind of like this. It does seem like it's easier to stay in frame too, because like I can just, if I'm looking through this little O, then I am definitely in frame. And it looks like it's holding up the image pretty dang good. Hopefully it looks good on your end, although I can't necessarily see that until after I'm done. I try to watch some of it after I'm done. Even though it's weird to watch yourself on videos, it's like, oh, this is super creepy. Oh, I bet some people like it though. And if you like watching yourself on videos, that's okay. I'm not here to judge. I like a lot of really odd little things too. Things people would probably consider odd anyway. Things I consider odd even though I do them. Oof. These pinstripes, you gotta really breathe. Oh, don't get off track. Don't get off track. Oh, a little too thick. This is a weird little spot here. Come on down in there. That's alright. Most of that will get hidden away in the wash. We'll be alright. We'll make it dark down in there with the wash. And nobody has to know but us. Nobody knows but us chickens, right? An old saying. And more of that, like paint with your dad stuff. That one of my younger friends was telling me, oh, listening to you, it's like listening to my dad. I'm like, oh, that's fun. It's like painting with your dad. I got 4 amazing kids, and they all are very able little artists when they want to be. My oldest is more of an engineer type. And my middle son, he enjoys doing these sort of things with me. And so does my oldest. My daughter, she just likes to do it whatever. Whatever's happening, she wants to do that. She is definitely the social part of the house. And we all love her for it. And she'll do anything. If we're in here painting models, she'll come paint models. If we're making Christmas cards, she'll make Christmas cards. She doesn't care. She just likes to do stuff. And then my youngest, he likes this all right, but he can only do so much. He's still kind of, there's that level where you want it to look a certain way and you get frustrated because it doesn't, because you're just not quite, you don't have the hand-eye coordination yet. You're young. So like any of my young viewers, if I have them, because I don't know that I have them. Maybe I'm saying this for posterity. Definitely don't worry about it. Just keep practicing. If it looks funky this time, figure out why you think it looks funky, and then try and improve in those areas next time. That's how you become a better painter. I wasn't always this good. And I'll tell you what, painting that little crevice right there is real hard. So, I'm not exactly going to be happy with this. I don't think there's any way I could possibly ever get happy with it. I think I'm going to have to find a place where I feel like it's okay, and then I've got to move on to the next thing, or I'm hung up here forever trying to paint this one little pinstripe on Audrey's leg. Oop, a little too much, but we'll fix this. Whew. Alright. Definitely not the easiest thing in the world to do, but it's going to look so neat when it's done. There's my middle boy rolling around out back there. You can hear him talking. I don't know what's going on back there, but it sounds interesting. I don't even know if you can hear it on the audio, but oh my. Yep, there we go. Okay. And we got a goal here on the inside. That's going to be really hard. It looks like we got some spotches here that we're going to need to paint up before we lay down those stripes. I don't know if you can, good angle for you to see it. Down there, so that pant leg. In the shadow, of course, where it's hard to see from the camera, there is a little bit of not quite stuck on enough paint. I want to get a little bit more on there, just so it, woo, do that and not mess up my lines. Okay, so we're gonna let that dry. I think we can keep coming around for just a little while longer before we got to worry about that other one, but we definitely want to kind of keep coming back and looking at where we're going to have to line up, because eventually they have to line up with each other. So if you're doing a pattern, you have to figure out like where the split is. Like pants are split a certain way, so if the pattern's there, where does the pattern come together, where does it not come together, and then you can kind of go from there. These sort of pants, I'm guessing that's on the inseam, so that's why I painted to that inseam on the inside of the pants. And then I'm going to figure it out once I get around this here. I'll figure out what to do. This needs to be a little bit more of an angle, though. Just flashed around. I looked at it on the screen, and it definitely needs to come this way. Painting in the folds of the cloth is, it can distort your perception. So just be patient. Check your work. Deep breaths, bold strokes. And know how to fix it. Know how to fix it if you mess it up. That's probably the most important thing. That was the same way about cooking too. Part of what made me such a great chef was I knew how to fix things when they got messed up. I was like, oh wait, you just do this and it fixes it. And I was able to keep all that stuff in my head and go. I also have like this really incredible sense of smell. So like I can smell that this is going on with something or that, or I can smell when things are done is kind of how it works in cooking. Or I can smell that it doesn't have enough of this spice or that spice before I even taste it. I can smell it. Like I said, most of that's going to get hidden away for us. So, alrighty. Alright, next one. Down, pull down, continue to pull down. Still only looking to get the edge of the thing done. We don't really want to push down on this brush. Just get the very tip of that, the very tip of those bristles, the very edge. Whew. Oh, God, that'll make you nervous. And if you have to, you're just going to come back and fix it. Easy peasy Japanesey. Lemon squeezy. Always easy. I feel queasy. Goodness. Oh, that is intricate, but it looks awesome. Spend the whole day painting lines. Oh goodness. Yeah, we've already spent most of this painting this lines on this guy. Maybe we should move on to something else a little bit and then come back. I can do this off camera. Although I think we're about to turn the corner and get to the easier side of this. I try to do the hard part first. Honestly, I kind of knew this leg was going to be a little bit trickier. The ruffles on that side right here are a lot more intense than they are on this side. So I kind of knew I was about to hit this early. And I was like, oh yeah, let's just do that. Oh my goodness, he's tormenting the cat. That is a child. It is not some sort of strange animal loose. Well, I mean, there is a strange animal, but it's just a cat. And then there's one of my sons. I don't know what he's doing.
Because you jumped in the bath. Bless.
The cat jumps in the bath. Close your robe, son. You're on live television. At least he has pants on. Thank goodness for that. Oh, if you have children, they're a blessing. I love my kids. They're really awesome. And I love the cat. He's awesome, but in an entirely different way. Kind of like a buffoon. Okay, so we're dry under here, so we're going to go ahead and start some of these stripes down here. These little things. Pinstripes. Again, trying to get the hardest leg done first. Because, like, if you get the hardest leg done first, then you're like, oh, man, that looked pretty good. You go to the easy leg, and you're like, oh, this is so much easier. That could probably be a little darker. Oof, those folds are rough. I don't even think you could see it in there from the camera. Oh my. Okay. Whew. It's not too shabby. Definitely, I'm going to have to come back and touch that up on the other side of it. But I think we got it. I was real worried about those. Those are going to be the hardest ones. These little guys on the inside of his leg. Just tough. Tough, tough, tough. Like I said, I don't even know if you can see where I'm trying to get that paint at, but it is just underneath his leg. Right up inside there. Oh, that's way too far off for you guys. It was way off. It was good for me. I was able to see it real well. Yeah. So we're getting that pattern going real nice. Okay, let's take a break from that. We're going to come back to it. Sometimes it's better to do that. Sometimes it's better to take a break, come back to something. We need to start putting some metal on stuff. That's going to really help show off what we got going on here, which is nice, and it's going to help us finish to clean up, getting those markers down. And it'll be something better for you guys to look at, so. Alright. His belt was black. So we're going to come back with our black, Mars black. Oh, and I did put the paint, the color palette in the description. Doobly-doo, if you will. If you're a fan of Matt Colville, I picked that up from him. If you are not, and you are a Dungeon Master, and you have not watched Matt Colville stuff, I highly recommend that you do. He is really awesome. And he makes a lot of really cool RPG stuff. And I believe they're making their own game right now. Their Kickstarter, maybe they've already gotten, I don't know. I keep up on different kinds of news. Mostly financial news is the news I actually keep up. I'm about to put Payne's Gray on there instead of black. Okay. But I watch mostly financial news because try to keep track of that and work investments in stock markets and stuff like that when I'm not painting with you guys. I don't get to do a whole lot anymore, not after since I got sick. It's been hard for me to do much of anything, really. It kind of sucks. But that's alright. Now I found something to do, hang out with you guys. When I eventually get like a you guys, like right now it's just my lovely girlfriend who I hang out with all the time. Wife, girlfriend, keep mixing those up. We're pretty much, like, by the law, maybe not married, but I love her so much that I can't imagine living life without her. So it's the same thing to me. The government's just not involved. He got a nice mark on the inside of his leg from the casting, which that'll work as the seam for the legs, which is great. That'll help us out later down the road. Looks like he's gonna need a little bit more of our pale terracotta. Make sure we get his skin nice and covered before we start adding washes. And take a little bit of that bronze away that it got down in his neck. God, I can't believe I dropped that. That's so funny. Happens to everybody. Kind of glad we kind of moved over this way. I feel like if I do drop it in there, or drop it, I'm not going to drop it in the paint quite as much. If I'll keep it over here on this other side, maybe. I'll get that right out, no problem. Alright. Nice. Okay. Golly, I don't want to do those things. So, his boots are kind of this reddish color. I've been using that burnt sienna. I think we're going to probably brighten them up just a little bit more. And then maybe we'll hit him with a redder wash to kind of bring that in. I'm going to come back to him later. Let's take a look at Vizzini. Definitely got to fix his hair. Got a little overboard with the terracotta for his flesh. So we're just going to fill that in with a little bit of raw umber. Alright. Like everything else on him is looking pretty good, except for his knife, which I don't think you can see Vizzini's knife in our. Oh yeah, you can. It's right there. So he has brass on his. Awesome. Just trying to get that cross section covered. Just like that. Okay. And it looked like all of his stuff is kind of edged in a bronze as well. Okay, relax and just let the paint barely touch that just exposed area. Take deep breaths, just calm, let it touch that area. Boom. Do-do-do-do. The fun part about these is like it looked like it was gonna look like it was gonna look better no matter what, because the pieces were just red, green, black, you know. I just wanted to paint them because I thought it would be really cool. And again, we're just kind of trying to touch the top that's raised up. And that's all we really want to hit. I don't know how much of the rest of his details we're going to be able to pull off. The model doesn't really have them. So you could freehand that, or there's some ways maybe to fake some of it. We need to take a look at the source material, and then we'll make some big decisions. I feel like just like that is going to be great. I mean, we could maybe do the edges of his robe, or doublet, or whatever that is. He's definitely a gilded guy, eh? And again, this is going to mute down a little bit when we put our washes on, which is kind of what we want here, really. We don't want it to look too much like full-on bronzed everything. Although the character might really want it to be that way. If you've ever watched the movie, he's kind of a little rat, finky, dirty, trickster kind of guy. Absolutely hysterical movie if you've never seen it. I think I said last time you need to stop watching this video and go watch it if you haven't seen it. And I still stand by that. Okay. Alright. I think he is done for now. Might need to put a little bit more of that phthalo on him. And then we're going to come back later and we will, after we wash it, we'll pull up the edges, the highlights with a lighter version of this. We'll mix the pale olive and the phthalo together. Just want to make sure we pull that green out real good, because his coat his doublet piece is definitely green. Yeah, he's gonna look great. All right. Come back with a little bit of our raw umber. Take care of any little errors that I feel like need to be done. And he is pretty much ready for the wash. Here I was talking like I was going to finish these guys today. I don't know that that's going to happen. Those pinstripes were a lot more difficult than I thought they were going to be. That happens. Alright, still got about 14 minutes. Alright, I think Vizzini is looking pretty dang good. We're going to call him where he stands for now. We'll hit him up with a... Ooh, I got a little phthalo in the bronze there. And that is why you take a look, ladies and gentlemen. And non-binaries or whatever. I'm not exactly sure what I'm supposed to say there. I'm an old guy, so like it's hard for me to remember how I'm supposed to say that stuff nowadays. And you just keep up with those things as best you can, but yeah, it's hard when you get older. Try to keep your mind as sharp as you can. All right. Oh, some other place I didn't get it done. If we're going to edge highlight that stuff, we got to do it here on the back too. Okay. Woo. Oh my goodness, I think that's the dog chomping on herself. I don't know if you can hear that one. So many strange noises in my house. Oh, I think you can hear it. The mic says it was picking it up. That was funny. Okay. Vizzini is done. Oh, except for his knife. We're going to pull out a little of this Iron Warriors to do our base coats on our weapons that we will hit with silver later. So we're going to do him, and then we'll move on to getting Inigo finished up and ready for washes. That's pretty easy. Just a little bit of paint on a little tiny blade. He's got a much bigger blade. And part of the box that's metal that's going to go into. Got to do that. And then we got to do this blade, which is... This is how you can tell it's not really the greatest model in the world. Like, it shouldn't do that. And we discovered yesterday that his pommel is silver, so we're going to base it in this Iron Warriors. It is a Citadel color, which I told you I had some of those. I haven't been able to find a dark metallic in the golden or Windsor Newton range. at my local art store. I'm sure they make it. I just haven't ordered it because I don't really order paint. And there goes the dog again. She's an itchy girl. Itchy. All right. Make sure I get back in the back. Sometimes it's easy to miss these back pieces. I'm sure his pommel is black, but we'll deal with that later. Okay. I'll shut that one down. These paint pods are notorious for trying to dry out. And always make sure if you do buy the Citadel ones, this back part of this lid, these things don't like to click shut. Just make sure you click that shut so your stuff doesn't dry out. Because man, does Games Workshop think that their stuff is the greatest that was ever made, and it is expensive. Not as expensive as some of the other things, but it gets up there. And these paints I use are great. They seem expensive at first. So it's like a big upfront investment versus buying some of the paint sets from the model painters. So it evens out in the end. You're paying more money up front, but you're probably about the same amount of money in paint, if not cheaper. It might be a little cheaper. Okay. We need to hit up his boots with another layer of this raw Sienna, because that is definitely the color of Inigo's boots. I always love that moment when they really start to look like whatever character they're supposed to look like, and you're like, oh yeah, I see it now. I see it. Color scheme starts coming together and all that stuff. He definitely looks like the picture now. He may be the closest, honestly. Okay, looking good. We'll let that dry out. Okay, about 7 minutes till it's time to stand up. All right, so we're gonna come back over here and we're gonna get back to work on pinstripes for a little bit, or maybe we'll clean up. Let's clean up his jacket, his regular jacket. We listen to thrilling sounds of the dog chomping on herself. It's gonna go ahead and give him a whole nother round here, just because that A, I want to lighten this up a little bit, and B, I gotta get rid of that bronze that dropped in his hat. That was awful. So we want to make sure we've got that done. The way we're gonna do that is just go ahead and give it another coat. It needs another coat anyway. We can also take this shot to lighten it up a bit. Again, remember, these are just the bottom color of it. So the top of it is going to have a lot. It's going to be lighter. So you really want this bottom, this base coat, to be a few shades darker than where the light is going to hit it. Even though we need to be considering where the light's coming from right now, we're going to really be considering where light comes from later. So, and all that starts here in the beginning, where we're making sure we're coming through with a gray that's going to be dark enough to count for the recesses of the shirt. And we're going to get some of that darkness from our wash, but the wash is also a lot of that's there for the weathering effect as much as it is for the darkening up of the spots in between. It's more of a trying to change the color and give it stains and make it look more weathered as it is filling in, like I said, gaps. I want to make sure the folds of his clothing aren't, just colored in from the wash. I want to make sure it's the color that I intend the final product to be, just in a darker shade. Because we'll come back and we'll dry brush the finished color of the shirt on top. We did that with the witch when we were working on it, if you saw that series. I think I can go through and edit it all together and make it a fast video where I can time lapse it, which that might be really cool. Although that witch one is probably not the one we really want to use. It's not the best. It's me still learning how to do it. So maybe after I get these guys done, well, we can do these guys as one. That might be fun. The time lapse seems like it would be a neat way to do a final video instead of just dropping it on TikTok, which that seems to be very popular. Dropping it on TikTok. I get a whole lot more attention over on TikTok than I do over here, and that's okay. I'm gonna build this audience here. I'm determined. Because I'm good enough, I'm smart enough, and gosh darn it, people like me. What was that, Stuart Smiley? If anybody remembers that one, throw that one down in the comments. That's Stuart Smiley funny. Ha ha ha. Still no comments though. Nobody actually comments. I had one comment one time, and all it was somebody said yes. I assumed it's something I said in the video, but I couldn't quite figure it out what I had said that this person replied yes to. And so it was interesting for me. I'm sure there are much more interesting moments to come. I like an interesting life. As Bruce Lee said, don't pray for an easy life. Pray for the strength to endure an interesting one, or something similar to that effect. Great quote. Okay, I think we covered up all the boo-boos. You get a few little odd crease spots here and there. Alright. It's starting to look pretty good. These edges here. Like I said, with this way I do these, it's really important to get all these base coats done right. I'm sure there's some name to this method, and I'll probably learn it, and we'll start using the right terms or whatever, but for now, I just paint the dang thing. the more I get involved in the miniature community again, the more I learn that it's not, it is definitely not like it was. It has changed a lot since I was first got into miniature painting. It has changed a significant amount. I mean, I played like 4th edition Warhammer and like 2nd edition D&D. Like, we were playing Advanced Dungeons and Dragons, which is basically 2nd ed, and that's where I started playing and learning about minis and stuff at. And oh man, it was a long time ago. So the world has definitely changed, and for the better, really. 3D printers are really cool. We 3D print things occasionally here. We'll definitely be doing some 3D printed models. Matter of fact, that one we did last time I printed, that was a loot model. Their STLs are awesome. If you do not have a loot subscription and you are looking for a good subscription, I would highly recommend you look at their stuff. They may be what you're looking for. Really neat. They are not any kind of official plug. If they were, I would flip out and be super excited. So if you're listening, Amber Blue, give me that sponsorship. That'd be fun. Anywho, yeah, I got a lot of pinstripes to do, and I'm positive that you guys don't want to watch me go pinstripe through pinstripe as I figure that out. So we will do that. I will do that off camera, and we'll be back tomorrow. And we're going to throw the washes on these guys. I'll have everything set up to put the washes on, and we'll wash them, and then we'll get the last bits of them done tomorrow. Ooh, stripes are fun. Shout out to all the was it Iron Warriors that have the stripes, the hazard stripes all over their Marines. Holy moly. Anyway, I hope you guys had a good time. I had a good time. I always have a good time. And happy painting, and I'll see you. Like, subscribe, share, all that stuff. That helps grow the channel and things like that. And eventually we'll start getting things like I don't know, all the other things that people say and do on these things. So until then, I will see you later. Have a great weekend. We'll see you. I guess we won't see you Monday. We'll see you probably Tuesday. So have a great holiday weekend, and I hope you guys all enjoy yourselves. And that'll be it.